Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode number 43 of Just the Guitar Podcast. Today we have a very special guest today with Chelsea Donner, who's very well accomplished in so many things, but I'll list them off really quick. 2014 World Brown Belt Featherweight Champion, 2014 Five California Trials Champion, 2013 Dream 16 Purple, Brown, Black Submission Only. I'd like to talk to you a little bit about that. That sounds really cool. Again, champion of that. 2013 Pans Brown Belt Light Feather Bronze, and 2013 World's Brown Belt Light Featherweight Bronze as well. So that's quite a mouthful there. Very honored to have you on. Thank you very much, Chelsea, for joining us.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Awesome. And of course, our panel, we have Jordan Short. Jordan, do you hear me? Yes. Okay. Good. Thanks for acknowledging me there. That's good. And of course, Rami Sharani.
Yo, we also just want to thank our sponsors, Pahada Gear. Wow, it's been a while since we've done a podcast, like 2 weeks. We just want to thank our sponsors, Pahada Gear, Porradagear. They're selling hoodies, T-shirts. They have like some really cool designs, all based out of San Francisco. Check them out. Also use promo code JTGT, get 20% off. We also have Very Hard to Submit gis. Or they mostly sell gis, or I guess that's their main market. But they also have spats, hats. I believe they have rash guards. Check them out. Very Hard to Submit. I believe it's actually the website actually changed, didn't it?
It did. It's VHTSNY. So
yeah, okay.
The old domain still works, but yeah, going for I'm not sure how long that will be active, but yeah, it's VHTSNY.com.
Yeah, cool. And so if you go there and use the promo code JTGT, you get 20% off as well. So check it out.
Awesome. Great. Thank you very much. So yeah, Chelsea, so if you can just, okay, so here's the thing, right? I remember reading your blog. You run a blog. Is it chelseabjj.com?
Yeah, there's a couple links that lead to it, but that's the best one to get there.
Okay, yeah. You know what? It's funny. I was looking at that one earlier yesterday, I believe, and I was reading through it. I'm like, you know what? I remember I used to follow it about a year ago, and I remember reading. There's that story you mentioned about going to China and all that kind of stuff. So it sounded really cool. So could you? I'm not going to read that out to everybody because I could just do that. But you started jiu-jitsu at about 12 years old or so, 12, 13 years old.
Yeah.
And do you mind me asking how old you are now? Like, am I allowed to ask that?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm 26.
Okay, you're 26. Okay.
Yeah, I am often told that I don't look it, and people are really surprised. But no, I'm 26 now. I started when I was about 11 or 12. I moved out to California at about that time, actually, and that's how I ended up in jiu-jitsu. I used to do gymnastics, and my parents told me I couldn't do gymnastics anymore because I was wrecking my body, and I had a kind of a fit of adolescent anger, and decided, well, if I can't do gymnastics, I'm going to do jiu-jitsu, and then it all went downhill from there. So that's how
Which is funny because I feel like jiu-jitsu damages your body pretty badly too.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're really shocked that I actually stuck with it. So, I mean, they didn't. I guess I didn't strike them as the type, but it all worked out.
Well, let's go back a little bit. I mean, 12, 13 years old. Like, how serious were you, back then? And then also explain to us, when you moved out to China, which you said you were like in mid-China, like kind of away from civilization, I guess, and there wasn't much jiu-jitsu there. And also, I'm sorry, I'm putting you on the spot as well, but you also went to university. And you never trained during your schooling. You would just do it during the summer holidays or the off time.
Right.
So take us through that, through all of that.
So I went to college, and at that time, I didn't really train, like you said. I didn't really train during the school year because I was doing other stuff. I was diving for the school and swimming, and I was playing rugby, and I was just doing other stuff. I came back and I trained during the winters and the summers and everything, but mostly just I was doing other things. And then obviously I graduated in 2009, which was pretty much the belly of the economic crisis, and I figured, hey, I can't stay here because I'll never find a job. I'm going to go to China because that's the kind of logic that a 20-year-old has at that kind of time in their life, I guess. So I went off to China, and I was in Southeast Asia for about 6 months, and then I was in mainland China for about 9 months, which was a miserable, miserable existence. And so then I moved to Hong Kong, and Hong Kong is actually where I started up jiu-jitsu again. So that was in 2011, I think. 2010.
What was it exact? What drew you back to jiu-jitsu when you moved to Hong Kong? Was there anything in particular? Or?
Well, I literally got on a plane from central China, and I got to the airport and I said, my visa's expiring, put me on a plane to Hong Kong or Taiwan. And it was, and she was like, well, Hong Kong leaves in an hour. So I got on a plane to Hong Kong. I had never been there before. And I got on a plane to Hong Kong, and the second I stepped off the plane, I loved the city. I just fell in love with the city, but I knew absolutely no one in the city. So I figured, oh, well, I can get back into jiu-jitsu because it's pretty popular there. There's a lot of Japanese people, a lot of Japanese expats there. So I got back into jiu-jitsu as a way to meet people, and that's when I actually started competing. Before going to Hong Kong, I had never really been a competitor at all.
Whereabouts were you training in Hong Kong?
I trained at Kowloon Jiu-Jitsu. This was before Rodrigo Caporal opened his gym Atos in Hong Kong, although he opened it while I was there. And then when I moved back here, I kind of had a couple of choices, right, for gyms, but I ended up with Andre Galval in San Diego, and I wouldn't change it.
That's amazing. You said you didn't start competing until Hong Kong?
Right. I didn't start competing until brown belt.
Oh, and not until brown belt?
Yeah.
Wow.
So, wow, really? You didn't compete at all until brown belt?
No, I competed a little bit once or twice as a kid, but then never again until I got my brown belt.
Okay, so how long has it been since you...
Oh, sorry. Sorry to cut you off. I just want to know, like, was there a reason for that? Was it just nerves or just an interest in you?
No, it was just that when I was a kid, there was no real opportunity for me. Like, again, it was, 2001, 2002. The scene was still really, really young, even in San Diego. And then, like, as it was growing bigger, I was away at college, so I wasn't really training hard enough to be a competitor. And then when I got to Hong Kong, it just seemed like something to do.
And then all of a sudden you win brown belt worlds, no big deal.
I mean, it took me a little while, but I got there eventually.
Is there a big tournament scene in Hong Kong?
Not really in Hong Kong. I actually traveled to Japan a few times. I won the Hickson Cup twice in Japan, and at brown belt, and then I came back.
So since training in Hong Kong until now, like winning worlds even, how long has that been?
That was since 2010, so maybe 4 years as a competitor.
Okay, cool. So it's kind of been like a little bit of a progression towards it, I guess.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the, just recently, of course, about a month ago, you won adult worlds. So that's your first time winning it because, as I mentioned earlier, you bronzed the year before.
Right.
Right. So I guess can you tell us how many matches you had?
I had 3 matches at Worlds this year because I got a bye through my first round. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Was there anybody that my mistake is I should have looked at the brackets beforehand because it's readily available. But was there anybody in particular who you were worried about? I mean, going into Worlds, like I know for myself, when I was looking into it, I was looking at my bracket, see if I recognized anybody, and I didn't recognize any names. Well, there were some guys I knew who were killers, but is there anybody who had you worried beforehand?
Well, the thing about women's jiu-jitsu is once you get up to brown belt, we all know each other. Mm-hmm. Like, even if we've never fought each other, we all know each other for the most part. So I knew that my side of the bracket was okay, but I knew that Karen from Checkmat was going to be my finals match, and I knew she was going to be tough. But she was the only one that I was particularly worried about.
Can you step us maybe through the finals match, or like kind of like what was going through your mind as well?
I would love to, as much as possible, but mostly it's all a blur.
That's cool.
Everybody was warning me that Karen was going to try and double leg me because she's known for it, known for just shaking hands and blasting a double leg. So I had been drilling with my wrestling coach during ADCC camp last year, and then And I knew that she wasn't going to be able to double leg me. So that was the one thing that I wasn't particularly worried about. So she tried, and I stuffed the shot. And then I got off a clean pull. And I don't know what happened. Somehow some time passed, and I grabbed a toe hold and came on top, and that was it.
Just like that, yeah. That was how long did that last?
I'm told it lasted about 3.5 minutes. But
wow.
It's tough. I mean, it does happen a lot in matches where you be watching videotape later and you forget all the certain things that happened throughout the match. There might be some things that you remember, key moments, but that's usually about it.
Yeah, I have no idea what happened. It's all kind of blur.
So you've never won Worlds before, correct? Like this was your first time winning at Brown?
Yeah, this is my first world title.
So in the year before that you made bronze. So like when you knew that you're going into the finals, meaning you got bronze, it's on lock, right? Like, do you ever? I mean, we've mentioned podium syndrome. That was mentioned with Drysdale. You mentioned it once, and I'm guilty of it too. I don't know about you guys, but if you know you're in the, I got bronze, I'm sitting pretty, then you kind of just you chill, you relax. Did you ever suffer from anything like that, or are you one of those people who like will take a bronze medal and throw it in the garbage?
No, I was not about to accept anything but winning this year. It just wasn't going to happen. I trained too hard for too long, and I just wasn't going to not win. So that was that this year.
See, that's the difference, guys. That's the difference between.
Because I know for like, yeah, I know for sure. Like once I hit the podium rounds, I'm just like, I don't care. It'll go up on my Facebook. I'll get 100 likes. That's good enough.
Yeah.
Well, it's different for you guys too. I only had 3 fights. My first fight, I already had a bronze medal.
Wow, that's fair enough too.
That's a good point.
What's the most amount of matches you've had in a single day? Because I know women's division is so different than the men's division as well. How does it typically fare?
Well, at IBJJF, 3 has been my longest day, but at the Dream Tournament, I had 4.
Yeah, okay, cool.
That's awesome. That's like the Dream one. Was that the sub only one?
Yeah.
I was going to ask you. So here we go. So IBJJF Worlds, you won. You've competed quite a bit since Brown, actually. What do you prefer yourself? Do you like the points format? Is there anything you'd like changed? Do you love the sub only?
I sub only. I love
you
sub
hate?
only.
I'm sorry. Oh, you love. Okay.
I love sub only. I would never do another points match if it meant that I could do sub only, no time limit for the rest of my life.
That's interesting coming from a champion who that's amazing. So why is it? Well, what is it? Sorry. Go ahead.
I subbed all my matches at Worlds. I don't do well with points. Yeah.
So you don't.
I'm a monster. I kill everybody basically.
But you don't alter your game then for like an IBJJF match then. Like if you're looking for you're playing a points match, you're not looking to gain points. You're always going after the submission then.
In my first match, I actually tried to play the points and I almost lost. Because I made a really dumb error, and that's what I feel like the adrenaline just gets to you, and you make stupid mistakes. I almost lost my first match on points, and I had to give up the top position and lay down and knee bar the girl because I was down on points.
That's horrible. Yeah, it's like
really too bad.
I got a little bit of a talking to for it, but.
So you actually you actually conceded a sweep? You allowed a sweep to happen? Or okay. And because you felt more comfortable off your back to go for a submission.
Because I knew that I wasn't going to pass her guard in a minute and a half, so I had to go for the submission. And the only submission that I could foresee getting her with was a knee bar from the bottom. So I sat back and went for the knee bar.
That worked out all right.
That's not too bad.
How did you actually find the
I don't know if you're allowed to do this or not.
Yeah.
Oh, no, you know what? Go, Ron, because mine's on a totally different stuff. So go ahead.
Sure. I was just going to ask, how did you adapt to going from purple belt to brown belt? I guess, wait a minute. Did you say that you competed only at brown belt? Oh,
Yeah,
okay. So
yeah.
you've always just, did you always just train like those knee bars and calf slicers and all that stuff, or did you bring that in eventually, like later on?
So what happened was when I moved from Hong Kong to San Diego, I suddenly was at Athos, and I was suddenly getting berimboloed all the time. And the only thing I could do to stop it was to learn how to attack the feet and the legs. And I got really good at it really quick because of that. And also, Angelica Galvao is also just fantastic at leg attacks. So it's just, it's something that I do to survive at Athos. And then it started to become part of my game in competition.
Hmm. Are you seeing lately? Okay, you know what? Again, so forgive me. I know of. I mean, I've watched a lot. I'm trying to word this correctly. I've watched a lot of female jiu-jitsu. All right,
Mm-hmm.
Mackenzie Dern,
Yeah.
Nicolini. Admittedly, I haven't seen anything in brown belt just yet. You did just get your black belt though.
Yes.
So, so see, I was going somewhere with this. I didn't say I was like, I don't watch, I don't watch brown belt, but so we're going to black belt. What matchups interest you going forward? I mean, okay, first, you know what? Before that, what tournaments do you plan on competing soon? I guess you might be taking a little break, but is there anybody in particular who your style would really match up well with?
Next week, I'm actually going to Grappler's Quest to do their submission-only no-gi tournament. So that'll be exciting. I'm excited for that. That's my next big tournament, my first at black belt, but it's a mixed division, so I don't actually even think there's any other black belts in it. Um, Other than that, I think as far as matchups go, I like to see Tammy fight anybody. She's technically on my team now, but I think her style is just so much fun to watch. Um, and I don't know. I don't know if Michelle will come back because she is doing MMA now, but she's
Uh,
always been one of my favorite athletes. So,
I
and
mean, yeah. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Nicolini. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So is there, so right now, like, does your coach take you to the side and say, like, does the training change, the training intensity or level or the personal attention change once you hit a black belt?
And I hope not. If the training intensity changes, I might die. So
Can you take us through a day of training?
yeah, I was just about to
yeah,
ask the same thing.
absolutely.
Yeah.
You mean during camp or like?
Yeah, take us through camp. Yeah, I guess camp would be cool to see how the big guys do it.
Okay, so for us or for me, what I'll do is I'll do my competition training in the morning from 11 to 1, and then I work. So I work in the afternoons, and I'll work all afternoon, and then I'll show up at the 7:30 train 7:30 to 9, and then go from the gym to the gym and lift, do my lifting, and go home and sleep. And that's how my day generally goes during camp. And that's Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday.
Oh, so only 4 days you do jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, and Wednesday is like a rest day. Excuse me. Wednesday's a rest day, but it's like for me, it's like I'll swim or I'll run or I'll do something, just not jujitsu. So that's generally how camp goes.
Wow, that's amazing. The
So,
reason
so
I say
outside
that,
of, I was,
sorry,
I was
you know
also
what?
kind of
I'm not
curious.
going to interrupt you anymore, so you can go ahead.
All right, I'll just take priority.
Go ahead.
But I was gonna ask, like, what happens outside of like a world camp, for example? Like, what's your training like? Do you stay consistent with that kind of schedule, or does it
Outside of
slow
work,
down? Is it
well, you have to slow down, otherwise you just burn out. So lately I've been training a lot because I'm getting ready for this weekend, but after that I'm hoping to slow down to like one training a day, and maybe I'll slow down on my lifting as well. Um, Take some days off maybe. Maybe I'll go sit on the beach for a while, which would be nice.
so? Is that like when you say like training once a day? Would that be those 4 days that you included, or would that be even less? Like, would you like to do like three or?
No, I'll do 5 days a week if I'm training once a day.
Okay. So it's like 5 sessions, but like spread out and like once every day. That makes sense. Cool. Ahmed, go ahead.
Okay, yeah, no. So what I was getting at is that, some people that we've had on in the past, especially who win world titles, they train almost, it seems like almost 6 hours a day, almost 7 days a week, right, guys? Like Gianni Grippo only takes one day off. It was Sunday, and so maybe that's just certain people. Yeah. He's just an example at the top of my head, but there's a lot of others. I mean, we had your teammate Leah Jr. on as well. He took us through one of his days as well. It was quite intense, and yours seems more realistic in a way that it's something that you can sustain for almost your whole life. Like, you know what I mean? Like you work out in the morning, you're working. I can only assume 7 hours, 6 hours. You come after work, you're working out again. Is that, like, in your opinion? Like, and I don't want to offend anyone else who trains a lot more than that, but do you believe that I'm being very careful, but do you believe that could help your longevity? Is that better for one's career, do you think, so they, as you say, don't burn out?
Well, so we used to train a lot more. But during Pan Am's camp, I think professors started to feel like we were burning out. Like by Friday, people couldn't keep up the intensity that they needed to be having good training. So we did this new thing for World Camp, and it worked out really well for me. I think it worked out really well for a lot of the guys because they were better rested by the time Worlds came around. And longevity-wise, I think that if you're training as much as we are, no matter what, you're going to get bumps and bruises, and it's going to be. I'm just banking on joint replacement therapy by the time that I'm like 35. I put all my eggs in that particular basket because as it is, my body is a wreck.
Do you had any like really significant injuries that have kept you out of training?
Yeah, I actually had a few. So I broke my tailbone right before nationals last year, and then I actually, just before Worlds this year, one of my teammates straight armbarred me and popped my elbow out, like 2 weeks before Worlds. And I was bruised from like here all the way up my arm. And I taped it up and tried to keep it here.
Yeah.
Okay, no, so, sorry, Jordan. So thanks for distracting me there. No, I'm just joking. But no, seriously. So back to the longevity thing. So I know you're saying you're banking on some sort of therapy by the mid-30s or whatnot. But is it still something that you see yourself doing possibly into your 40s? Or I guess what I'm asking is what do you have planned long term?
I hope
it's always a question we ask. So.
I hope I can do this for forever, but I mean, I don't know that this level of competition and this level of intensity is feasible in the long term, but it doesn't have to be the long term for me. I wanna fight at black belt. I want to win black belt worlds, and I want to hopefully fight and win black belt worlds a few times. But I don't think I'm ever going to be, 45 fighting black belt adult. Like, that's not something that I foresee myself doing.
You don't plan on being like the female Megaton?
No, it doesn't really appeal to me in the long run.
And it's interesting you mentioned Masters, and the reason I asked is because you said yourself the female jiu-jitsu side of things is a lot different already because you have 3-4 matches and that's a busy day. But do you think that once you hit Masters though, like I know for men anyway, the number of competitors shrinks considerably. I can only assume the same happens in female.
Yeah.
Is that something you see that might change as jiu-jitsu gets a little more popular? Is that something you're looking forward to? Maybe, okay, I only have to win 1 or 2 matches now. Like would you do Masters for that?
I mean, I'm sure that it's going to shrink as Masters and seniors and everything. But You know, it doesn't really matter to me because I've never been in a big bracket. It's all, you know, it's all going to be the same, and all the girls my age are probably going to are all going to age into masters at the same time anyway. I'm going to be fighting the same girls for the next, you know, 20 years, one way or the other. We better get used to each other, I guess.
Is it just your weight class in particular? Like you're light feather, right?
Feather.
Sorry, you're feather?
Yeah, I went up to featherweight.
Okay. Sorry. So, what weight class for women is the most popular competitor-wise? Like for us, lightweight and middle usually have the most competitors.
Featherweight and lightweight.
I'm sorry?
Featherweight and lightweight are the biggest.
Featherweight and lightweight. Okay. Okay. So I was just trying to just kind of estimate, like, I don't know why I was working the numbers game to see like how many people there would be in your divisions, but okay, never mind that. It's okay. That's not a big deal. Next question though. Mixed mixed belts. You said you're competing coming up. You're doing a mixed belt sub only, and you're the only black belt in that. How does somebody like yourself put aside ego? And the reason I ask is because I know I would not enter a mixed belt one because I have an ego. So if I go in and if I get tapped by like a blue belt or a white belt, that would suck, right? So, but now multiply that by 100. You're not only a black belt, you're also a world champion black belt, and you could
stop making her second guess this choice.
I know. I'm not saying like no. I'm not saying this is a horrible mistake and you should never do this. But what I'm saying is that how do you put that all aside? Like, do you really are you honestly like just no ego, no care? You're just there for the competition?
Oh no, I think you have to have an ego. If you don't have an ego, then you don't really belong on a competition mat because your ego should be what's driving you to succeed. And that doesn't mean that your ego has to be in charge of everything. But if I stepped on to the mats every day at Atos and I had no ego, I would just get steamrolled every training. I have to have an ego because that's what makes me fight. So yeah, of course I have an ego, and my ego's on the line when I enter mixed belt competitions. But I have to trust that my training is good enough, and that my preparation is good enough, and that my leg locks are good enough to carry me through.
In these tournaments, are they usually like black belt, brown belt rules? Like, will you be able to use a leg lock? You should look into the rules. I just want to make sure you don't get disqualified or anything like that.
Everything's like so.
Okay. All right, sounds good. One thing that we also ask our guests is supplements and stuff, and especially with the training you do and all the lifting you're doing, the weights and everything. Could you possibly give us some insight on some of the supplements that you may take? I know usually at the end we say shout out to sponsors, so maybe some of them are your sponsors. I don't know, but I'm just curious about that.
So I take BCAAs. That's pretty much it. During camp, I unfortunately take a lot of pre-workout to get through the day, but I don't know if that counts as a supplement. I don't know that that's particularly good for you, but it is something that I do have a lot of. Actually, one of my friends, after I won Worlds, gave me he works at GNC, and he gave me a huge bag full of C4 free samples. So now I'm good on C4 for like the next year and a half. So that's good. But
that stuff honestly kind of freaks me out. Like every time I've taken it, I feel like I'm on crack, and then I go in there, and then I'm like freaking out while I'm drilling, and then it just doesn't end well for me.
Sweating everywhere, and yeah.
And it gives you that tingling on the skin.
Yeah, the ants.
That's horrible. Yeah, I stopped taking that stuff. I used to take it, and then I was like, isn't it bad for your heart? Like, serious question. Like, serious.
Oh, I'm sure it is. I'm sure that I have taken years off my life due to my but like the joints, I figure it's worth it.
That's awesome.
It'll definitely give you a boost, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, and then it'll make you crash so hard, and you'll take the best nap of your life after training.
That's awesome. You know, we again like Michael Leah Jr. told us about it, and I literally tried it. I think the next day at training or something. And Jordan brought some in. I know we've told the story before, but he brought some from pre-workout in, and I've never taken it in my life. And he gave it to me, and I mixed it in a bottle, and I didn't have it before a workout. I kind of had it during,
He kept drinking it throughout the entire
through the
class.
workout. And I'm like, this doesn't do anything. And then when I was done, I was like, I was wired. It was crazy. It was wild.
Well, it's called
work.
workout because you take it before.
I know. And this is like, but he brought it for me for the workout, and so I just thought, it's like like you take a sip and do something, like, and it didn't work out. But yeah, that's the story about that. But speaking of you brought up Nicolini, which is pretty cool because we have her coming up. I think the next couple of weeks she'll be on with us as well. So, but anyway, just one question I want to ask you about is MMA. A lot of people are looking at going into that after jiu-jitsu, and primarily because, and now tell me if we're wrong, but primarily because jiu-jitsu doesn't really have much money in it per se right now, and so people are going more into MMA because, and I know people locally here as well who have done that. They train a lot of jiu-jitsu, now they're going to MMA because there's more of a paycheck in it. Is that something you agree with, or?
I think if people are down to do that, they should go and do that. But listen, I was rolling with Chris Cyborg the other day, and she clipped me with an elbow by accident when I swept her, and she gave me this massive black eye, and that was enough to tell me that I never would get in a ring with Chris Cyborg or anybody else for that matter, because I really don't ever want to get hit in the face. So, okay. I mean, if you're going to invent MMA where I get to hit somebody in the face and they don't get to hit me, then yes. But other than that, I don't think I could ever go there.
Okay, no, fair enough. But part of my other question that I kind of asked you, but you skipped a little bit by accident. The whole thing about money in jiu-jitsu, do you feel like events like Metamoris and stuff are probably the future for the top level people like yourself to make a good living out of it?
I mean, I hope so. I have a job outside of jiu-jitsu, and it's hard to balance it, but it's doable. But I know that there are some guys, like some of my teammates, who they don't have a job. All they have is jiu-jitsu, and I hope that there's a way for them to make a livable wage doing it at some point in the future. Some of them do. They make good money doing seminars. They make good money doing private. They make a living for themselves, but it's still hard, definitely.
And sorry, and another question is there any advice you might be able to give to some of our viewers who might be chasing that dream right now, like just like you were mentioned, maybe there's no income stream, but they're looking for a light at the end of the tunnel. Is there something you can maybe offer? I mean, I know it's a little different because you like you said, you work and stuff like that, but is there things that maybe you've picked along in the industry that you might be able to forward and help out? 'Cause that's a question we cannot answer at all. So.
Well, the thing that I do is I make jiu-jitsu my priority. It's part of my work day, just like my work is part of my work day. So I schedule things around it. I found a job that allows me to schedule jiu-jitsu around my job and my job around jiu-jitsu. It offers me that flexibility. And if it's really something you want to do, then you have to figure out a way to work that gives you the flexibility. You need to train full-time, essentially, and work full-time. Like, I work on the weekends. I work sometimes 16-hour days on the weekends because I need to train during the week. And it's exhausting, but it's worth it. And
awesome.
if you're not willing to put in the time, then of course you're not going to get there. You have to be willing to make the sacrifice of, I can't go out and drink on Wednesday night because I have to train on Thursday morning.
That's awesome. Anyone who's drinking Wednesday night, though, you have issues. It should not be Wednesday night. Thursday, the weekend starts on a Thursday. So, but yeah, no. Sorry, guys. Am I dating myself here? Like, back in my day, we only did Thursday, Friday night. All right, never mind. No big deal. Okay, Chelsea, that was awesome. On that note, guys, we're going to wrap this up. Chelsea, if you have any sponsors, anything you'd like to share, please do.
Yeah, I'd like to thank Nuaza Apparel and Pony Club Grappling Gear. They're my sponsors right now, and they're great. They're helping me out with a lot of stuff.
Hey, is it true after you win a world title, people approach you like sponsors, like literally right there off the podium?
It didn't happen to me, but no. I'm still looking. So.
Oh, okay, that's awesome. Okay, guys. So yeah, like I said, I'd like to wrap that up. So again, Chelsea, thank you very much for joining us, and congrats on the huge win and huge accomplishment. I mean, that's amazing. I mean, man, I read an article. Sorry, guys, I know I'm wrapping up, and I'm like, oh, I read an article. But I read this article where this guy wrote something. He's like, you know what? You'll never become a world champion. He gave reasons why, saying you think you're working hard, there's somebody else who's working 3 times as hard as you. You know what I mean? There's somebody more hungry. There's somebody, whatever. He really.
What a negative article.
It was a horrible article. It was horrible. I read it and I'm like, oh man, like I don't even want to train anymore. Like,
I think I wrote this article.
Yeah, it was horrible. But anyway, no, it's good that we get to chat. Like I said, the whole point of the podcast, honestly, we chat with people who are like really good at jiu-jitsu, and it's awesome to run across somebody who's you know, balanced and everything. So that's amazing. I don't know where I was going with that. But it's amazing. Thank you very much for coming on. And guys, we will have in the next couple of weeks we have some awesome guests coming up. But unfortunately, I can't give a specific date. But really cool guests. Like you know what? I'll just say the names because whatever. I just don't know the dates yet. But I know Michelle Nicolini is on board. I know the living legend Frank Shamrock will be on as well, which is going to be awesome. I'm sure you guys all know who that is. And anyway, and we have a couple local guys as well that we'd like to have on as well. Sorry, that will be on, but yeah. So that's it, guys. That's episode number 42. Thank you for joining us, and take care.